are creatures of habit. We learn by what we see. We learn by doing. We learn, and what we learn, we repeat, and of course, that becomes a habit. We said, of course, that habits are critical to your success. People like Covey has written books, and you could read almost everywhere that successful people have cultivated certain habits. Success doesn't come by luck or chance. It comes by intentionally disciplining yourself and cultivating good habits. Now, we said habits could be good or bad. And sometimes, most of us, if not all of us, have cultivated bad habits. And so, he talks about the 7 habits of highly effective and successful people. And we also said that Jesus, when you look at his life, he was a man who cultivated 3 basic habits. The first one is that he prayed. The second one is that he went to church every Sabbath day, or every time the church door was open. He started that from a little boy. So as he grew older, it was not difficult for him to naturally, by the time Friday came around, his mind was already about going to church. And third habit is that he developed is that wherever he went, he preached the word. He shared the gospel with people. We said the same thing about Paul. And so we talk about the fact that Paul, a man who had all the reason, because he wrote this epistle to the Philippians, a man who had all reason to be sad, a man who had all the reason to complain, a man who had all the reason in the world to be depressed. Yet, when you read his letters, he was always in that sense that you could get the feeling that he was joyous, because that is what came out from his mouth. That is what he wrote on every letter. He will say, rejoice and rejoice. Most of his epistles, we said, it was written from prison. I mean, that's interesting. We said, people ask what hotel I'm going to. They're looking for good accommodation. I'm sure Sinach is going to some hotel. But Paul would have been saying, I wonder what jail in Scarborough, or what that will look like. So, but when you look at this man's life, you see no signs or no evidence of a man who wanted to backslide, a man who wanted to leave God, a man who was fed up, a man who was so stressed out that he abandoned his ministry. But all you see in a man, he was encouraging people to keep on moving on. He said, rejoice evermore, and you're in prison, pray without ceasing. He said that. And so he is sharing with us a habit that he have cultivated. And that habit is guaranteed for success. It is guaranteed for spiritual success. It is guaranteed to relieve you of stress. That is the first habit we're talking about, is a habit of conversation with God. So Paul said, don't worry about anything. He commands. It's a command, He's not asking us. He's telling you. He said, don't worry about anything. Because worrying or anxiety could degenerate to cardiovascular disease, could degenerate into mental, psychological problems. Now, you said, well, he said that. Well, he said it in the positive. He says, do not worry about anything. But in everything, by prayer, supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. And the peace of God that transcends all understanding will what? God. Your what? Your heart, your cardiovascular system, and your mind in Christ Jesus. So, Jesus said, worrying, my friend, is an exercise, or being anxious is an exercise in futility. It doesn't change anything. We said that before. And we say it again. It doesn't change anything. Don't worry about things. Listen, there are things in life beyond your control. You have no control over people. You don't have no control over what people say and what people do. So why you want what people say? You have no control over the weather. The best thing you can do is to get an umbrella. Don't worry about the rain fall. No. Don't start with the rain. I get it. No. Take an umbrella. And there's a reason I think why God is saying it, because most of us spend all our lives worrying about things and people and situations that we cannot change. So if you cannot change it, why worry? And if you could change it, why worry? In other words, if you could change it, change it. If you could fix it, fix it. But I want you to know you cannot fix people. I'm going to share with you something. Not even God. No, Cutty, what kind of heresy? I'm going to tell you. Not even God could change people. And I'm going to stay right there. And you're going to say, Cutty, what are you talking about? I'm going to stay right there. I'm going to leave that purposefully. I left that incomplete. Purposefully. Because not even God could change you. If. And let me say that. If. Let me leave the if. Now, so he said, listen, if you worry, you're only doing yourself harm, because worrying is a fatal exercise. It is said that worrying upset the body's hormone balance. They have discovered that today. You know, they have some disease they call a psychosomatic disease, mind over matter. There are some things you could go to the doctor, you spend all your money, and they can't find the cause. Because it is not physical, it is psychological. But it affects the cardiovascular system. It's a worry affects the body's hormone. It depletes the chemical required for your happiness. So when you worry, listen, things are happening internally, you know. That's why Paul said, the peace of God going to guard your heart. It damages your immune system. It decreases your lifespan. Worrying does that. And it causes you to age faster. People who worry, they're always looking older than they are. It alters your appearance of youth. So what are you worrying for? Worrying, apart from cardiovascular disease, it also gives you, digestive problems, ulcers and so on. And you become, now in your mind, you become vulnerable to satanic suggestions. Because if you're worrying about something, let's say you're worrying about what you could eat, what you should drink, and you say, oh God, things looking bad, and nothing coming in. Well, you know what Satan does? Satan must send somebody and say, I could, Satan like that. I don't want to go. Let me just stick right there. Cut you, stay right there, right? Stay right there. So, he'll put that idea in your mind, or he will bring somebody to you and say, listen, hey. Now, Satan always come to you, well, listen as well, at an opportune time, when you are most vulnerable. So if you and your wife having problems, or you and your husband having problems, he will send a brother or sister that talking so pretty, and listening to you attentively. And he said, you see, your wife don't even do that. I like how the rabbis had that belief, a good angel is here and a bad angel. I love some of the hip-hop guys, you see, and we need to learn to do that dance. Brush it off your shoulder. You're going to whisper in your ear. You want money? Things hard. Oh, here comes. Just drop that package in New York for me. That's all. Just drop that package down the road. Weed. You become a mule. Easy, because you become vulnerable. And worrying makes you distrust God. Most of the time when we do things because we don't trust God, you know. So, times if you run out on you. As a brother or a sister, and you say, you know what? Things are looking too good. Let me take the first cock-a-doodle that I meet. And he not even saved. Let me take the first sister and she not even saved. You become vulnerable. Satan's ploy is always to be placed in your mind. The children of Israel didn't enter the promised land because he played with their mind. They were what they call, the devil play mind games. And some people, as I said, they lose their mind. They're gone mad. Some people now are suffering from anxiety disorder. They're afraid to come out. They're afraid to come out of their house. Doctor's medication have to help them. I know of a lady, a Christian woman, and I do not. I would not say she's not a Christian because she worrying. She shouldn't worry as a Christian, but she did. And today, I remember we went at the home, and let me give you the story behind the madness. She married a man. In premarital counseling, the question was asked, do you have any children? He said, none that I know of. No, nothing wrong with that answer. I'll tell you why. He said, I don't know anybody. He answered correct, according to his knowledge. It doesn't mean to say he doesn't have children that he don't know of. But he said, none that I know of. Some years passed, they had 3 children. 3 wonderful children. 2 boys, 1 girl. She played the piano in church. She came from a family that they could sing. Many years I didn't see her. Next time I saw her, she said, they're coming for me. They're coming for me. You see them? You see them bad talking, man? You see them up there? You see them? She lost her natural mind. Because somebody told her, you see, let me tell you how it works. Somebody told her she was going to classes, and somebody told her, Satan always have a messenger to bring up old things. Satan's an archaeologist, he like to dig up old things. So don't be Satan disciples by constantly digging up old things. If it's dead, it's dead. One minister of the Lord said, one of the problem that Satan is going to use against God's people is bringing up guilt and shame of things that they have done in the past. He's going to bring it back to you. I don't want to stay there. Let me move on. But she met somebody and they said, hey, I saw your husband, blah, 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 son. What? Went home discussing the matter. Well, I don't know. But this girl, you know, if you don't put the bucket in the well, no, brothers, if you didn't go there, they can't call your name. Well, some people do call your name. But when you take what they call a paternity test, it might exonerate you. But the point is, he said, well, this girl was, you know, she was a little promiscuous. I never own up to any child as mine. She was saying that it is mine. And that, well, she could have cried. She could have felt hurt. Or she could have believed what her husband tell her and killed the story. But she couldn't in her mind. You see, this is the problem. In her mind, it continued over and over. He have a child. He didn't tell me the truth. He have a child. What? You see a big liar? What? Yeah. And on and on and on. Boom. That's it. Crazy lady. She wasn't really crazy, but she was always, she had to, take pills and so on to keep her, because, and when she's not taking that, they have to bring the ambulance to take her. And she's working in the government. I don't know if she's still working. But I'm saying that to say, that's why Paul said, worrying is fatal. It affects your relationship with people. When you are a worrying person, man, everything upsets you. I fly past, where you passing there for? Rain fall, oh God, rain, God, what happened? Everything upsets you. You are a time bomb ready to explode. One man said, don't push me, I'm on the edge. So I'm on the edge. One man said, a hip-hop guy says, don't make me act the fool up in here. So Paul said, don't worry. He says, but take it to God. In prayer, he says, in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, let your request be made known to God. Now I want to take it from the end. With thanksgiving, which is really the second habit. And Paul seemed to be saying to us, well, you know what? We talked about prayer last time. Prayer is a general thing, you acts in general. But there are different types of prayer. In other words, there are different types of communication. And I want you to stick to that word. All prayer is communication with God. Having a conversation with God. And communication is a process whereby innately, what it is really is about sharing information. That's all it is. Sharing two people. Sharing information. Two people sharing information. We got a little deeper here. So sharing information, that's what it is. So he says, listen, share your information with God. Yeah. And he talked about petition, and he's talking about that time you need to be specific. Don't tell God you want a washing machine. And you didn't, and when he give you a Samsung, you say, oh God, I want that G. You didn't know the difference. Be specific. Petition talk about being earnest. You're sincere. And there's that's why James said, the effectual fervent prayer, fervency. There's a tone, there's an emotion that goes with it. When you really want something, God, listen, most of the time we just casually ask God, Lord, could you give me this and be done with that? But, and let me go back to that. I said the daily highlighted when we were talking, prayer is sharing information. So what that means? You speak, and then God speak. Now, the problem is, when you're reading the Bible, God does most of the talking. But what we do most of the talking and we don't listen. We don't listen. People don't listen to what God is saying. We'll come to that. But he says petition. Specific, and also it has within that concept of petition the idea of allowing God. You need to be supple. In other words, you allow God to act how you want to act. You don't tell God how to act. You don't tell God, you don't command God. You don't demand God to do it your way. And it's because we want things to be done a certain way, when it doesn't happen, it comes, the answer comes, but we want it to be done a certain way. Remember, we talked about Naaman. Naaman went here, to get a miracle from the man of God. And he said, I thought the man would have come out raising. That is his own idea. All the man said, go and dip 7 times. But he didn't expect that. You see, he had his own idea how it's supposed to work. But the man of God said, go and dip. That was not his idea. His idea was you were to come, and because of that, he almost missed a miracle. So if you're praying for Steve and John, I know you like John, but say, Lord, you know what is best. Let God make the choice. Let him do what he pleases. Somebody said people don't pray. All we do is rearrange our ideas down there. We don't have our thing planned already. We don't know how it's supposed to go. But God said no. It's like the man who, he said, Lord, save me. There was a storm, flood. He ended up on the rooftop. And he said, God, save me. I've come a boat. You're going? No, waiting on God. God to save me. I've come a helicopter, waiting on God to save me. Drowned and died. We should have God. How come he save me? Yeah, I sent a boat and I sent a helicopter. But he waiting for the hand of God to come out of heaven and pick him up. Don't set up yourself. Leave it to Jesus. God said he will answer. That's one thing guaranteed, but he never tells us how he's going to answer. That's one thing he never tells you. He said, I'm going to answer. But I never, you know how many of us miss the answer? Right into your face, but you cannot see it because your own mind. Let me move on, Cuthbert. Move on, brother. He says, with thanksgiving. Now, it's interesting to me, and I was reading recently, thanksgiving, let me first define, what is thanksgiving? Thanksgiving is an expression of gratitude and appreciation or an acknowledgement of something somebody has done for you. Is that right? We're not sure. Let me make it more plain. So if Brother Black brings to me, he gave me a pan for my birthday. I said, thank you, Brother Black. Why? Because he did something for me. So I express my appreciation. Sometimes I may say, you know what? I have 10 mangoes here. Let me bring some for you now. I may express my appreciation by saying thank you, or I may express it 10 tangible just as well. You know that there are people who you help, and then, they are so grateful for what you have done for them. Anyway, they see you in the world, they don't pass you straight. Anyway, they don't forget your birthday. They don't forget something. Every time you see them, they just bring things for you. You're not begging them, but they appreciate it so much. There's a lady in Trinidad, I tell you, every time when you come in, Rev, you come in, and bet your dollar. Every time I go to Trinidad, she's giving me apples. She's giving me Tai Chi. One of the mangoes. She said, bring that for the boy. Give the boy that. And then she will call, you get it? You like it? Appreciation. I don't know what I did. I don't know. I can't remember what I did. But that's a level of appreciation. So when somebody has done good for you, let me just shout right here now. People who learn to appreciate, research have shown that they are the most happy people in the world. When you don't appreciate nothing, you're always sour. You're always discontent because no matter, listen, there are some people, if you go, like Sister Daniel, I know she brought 2 mangoes for me from the States down, she can't walk, she can't go there. But I know she brought some nuts for me on the plane. But there are some people, if you bring them a little pen, I went to that Joseph to go on the cruise, she bring him back, right? She bring 5 pens for me. And 2 type pens on the plane. But some people, that you bring for me? You're going all in New York, and that you bring for me? You ain't bring her shoes. What? Oh, ungrateful. Listen, my friend, appreciate what the people that don't owe you nothing. You're not entitled to it. You don't listen, my friend. All of their good heart, they say, let me appreciate you. Is that expression of gratitude? And what Paul is saying is interesting to me because it blew my mind, because I'm reading recently, before I say, I'm reading recently that it said that when you say, I run in the gun, I want to go fast, but take your time, Cutty. Rewind, let me rewind. Now, so it is that expression. So Paul said that we need, when you come to God, he's saying to us, so these are some of the core elements in prayer. When you're praying, always give God thanks. Now he's blowing my mind, because when I read the text, it's telling me that when I pray, even though I don't get the thing, I must give God thanks, even though I don't get it. Now that's blowing my mind, because usually thanksgiving is defined by when you receive something, you acknowledge and you say thank you. If you don't receive it, you don't say it yet. What did I think about? So Paul is blowing my mind. Paul is blowing my mind. He's saying, give thanks in advance. Give thanks in anticipation of the answer, even though you haven't received it yet. So there are times, let me go there. Let me take my time. So listen, when you have conversations with people, all truths are parallel. When you have conversation with God, sometimes you don't ask God for nothing. All you need to do is say, thank you, Jesus. What Thanksgiving does, let me run this quick. What Thanksgiving does, Thanksgiving reinforces a person's value to you in your own mind. Now, when you say thanks, what it does something to you. Now, humanly speaking, it makes the person feel good about themselves. If you want to make somebody day, you make them feel good, they go away, wow, I didn't know I was touching so much people's lives by what I do. Makes you feel good, makes you feel useful and significant and important. So that's why when you tell somebody you're in love with or you love thank you, it makes them feel good about themselves. You show you appreciate them. You appreciate effort. They don't have to succeed, but you appreciate effort too. In this world, we are taught only to appreciate success, but you need to appreciate effort. Now, when you enforce in your own mind the value of that person to you, you also reinforce in your mind, when you say thank you, God, you enforce in your mind how great and mighty this God is. That's what you're doing. In other words, the song captured well. When upon life billows you are tempest tossed. Let me make it plain in the song. When you are discouraged thinking all is lost, count your many blessings. Name them one by one. I was surprised what God has done. In other words, when you begin to, when you read the psalmist David, when you begin to thank God for what you have done, for what he has done in your life, past things, what happened to you? Something happened to you spiritually, something happened to you mentally. It reinforces God as a great and powerful God. And if he did it once, he could do it twice. And if he did it twice, he could do it thrice.